Welcome to the Untrained Experts, a podcast for combat sports and fight news.
Welcome back to Untrained Experts, episode 19.
What's going on, guys?
Not much, man. What's up?
Glad to be back on the pod.
Sure.
Plenty of shit to talk about today.
A lot.
A lot.
We got a lot of fight announcements, man.
Yeah, a lot of fight announcements. A lot of different things going on right now.
Yeah, for sure. Just wanted to start out by saying rest in peace to the shooting victims from the mass shootings that have been happening lately.
Man, it's terrible.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, it's just like... It's like Rogan had Bernie Sanders and all them on the pod. He was talking to them, and I just, like, nobody knows what to do. Mm-hmm. Nobody understands, like, what's going on. Like, and I know this has been a thing for what, like, the past 5 years at least, 5 to 10 years. It's been an ongoing thing. I mean, we got the Sandy Hook, the bombings in Boston, all this different stuff going on. And, man, I don't get it. I really don't. Like, and so many people blame it on guns, and Brendan Shaw got so much backlash for talking on Rogan's podcast. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. Like, he got so much backlash for talking about the victims, and I don't get it. I don't understand why people do that. Yeah. Like, I don't know which. And the thing is, and they talk about taking away your guns and stuff like that, and I don't see that solving the issue. Like, America now, like, yeah, we've been built on that. We've been built on, the Second Amendment. We've been built on being able to have your own weapons and, bear arms. And, just like, what was it, a couple days ago? There was a stabbing. Mm-hmm. The guy in California went around and killed like 4 people with a knife. I mean, and it's like in Britain, where they tried to ban knives or whatever, or certain knives. It doesn't solve anything banning these weapons. It doesn't solve anything taking these weapons away from people, because then you end up taking them away from the people that might be defending their homes or defending themselves. And it all comes down to mental health in this country. I believe, like, this country is just broken.
The thing is, the bad people are going to get the weapons.
Yeah, that's like,
what they're using is not legal anyway.
Yeah, period. I mean, most of them.
Most of the time. I mean,
even the semi-auto. I mean, if they don't buy a semi-automatic rifle, they're going to go to the black market, or they're going to find somebody with an automatic rifle. If they want to find it, they're going to find it, and they're going to commit.
But they keep talking about wanting to ban automatic weapons, but the thing is, like, that's just not. They're not legal for a civilian anyway.
Not at all. I mean,
but the biggest thing is, like, it's a little controversial. I don't want to get too deep into this at the beginning here, but, like, you can't ignore the correlation between SSRI drugs and these mass shootings. Everybody and almost every one of them has some kind of correlation to SSRI drugs.
I'll be the first to say I've been on an SSRI. I mean, I've been prescribed one for anxiety. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, they affect your brain. Like, and that's why I got off of medicine. They can. I mean, and I was on low dosage, and, like, one that's not like super strong, like they prescribe to people. I wasn't like on an antipsychotic or anything, but those drugs are so strong, and they completely change the way you think about life, and the way your brain works. And they don't know the way it affects people. And doctors are prescribing left and right in every city, every state. I mean,
they're way overprescribed.
Way overprescribed.
In America.
And
that's why there's so much.
They take people who might be have anxiety or depression and be a little messed up in the head, and they take that, and it ends up making them worse. Mm-hmm. It ends up elevating whatever problems they're having. That's not always, we don't know enough about medicine. That's not always the answer. Yeah. And that we don't know what these drugs are doing to people's brains.
And we don't know what kind of state these people are really in before they get them. And when you have a certain like brain composition, and you take something like that, not everybody can take the same drugs and it affect them the same way. Just because it works on some people doesn't mean it's going to work on everybody.
Well, I mean, there's people who have, obviously not committed mass murders or anything, but they've taken, certain SSRIs or drugs, and they say, like, they completely numb them, but they completely change the way they think about everything. Like, some of them, it just makes people go crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, it literally makes them just want to do whatever. Like, they don't care about anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, the first thing that comes to their head is, I don't give a shit. I just want to go kill people. You know what I mean? Like, and that's literally a thought they might have.
If that's something
it might even be something they can't control. I mean, it's crazy to think about that, but it's true.
Yeah, you hear a lot of people who are on SSRIs and stuff, like, commit suicide or like talk about suicide because they don't feel they don't feel like it nothing matters or whatever. And if somebody who already has these deep rooted thoughts or think about killing or whatever, then that makes them really feel like they don't really give a shit, so they're just going to do it because why not,
I just, yeah.
And the thing is, like the last few that have been happening, there's been signs out the ass about them. Like the one kid had a rape list in high school and a hit list.
Yeah, like,
and nobody checked into that. Nobody, you know what I mean? Like,
which was it the one in El Paso or the other one? And one of them, the guy bought the gun legally, which, you can't, it's the same thing. It's like these guys are going to get these guns regardless.
Yeah.
If they want to get their hands on these guns.
Mm-hmm.
If they feel like they need to murder, they're going to do it regardless. That guy would have went into El Paso with whatever he could have found trying to kill people.
Mm-hmm.
And it might not have been as many people, but he could have killed, just like the guy in California that killed 5 people with a knife. Like, you can't stop these people from killing people.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't. And it comes down to their mental health and the way this country is broken, period. Why do so many people feel like that? Why are so many people doing these things? It starts at the country. It starts like how we're treating our citizens a lot of times. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I wish there was something we could do about it, but it's out of everybody's control. I know that taking guns away from people is not going to fix it, though.
Yeah.
These pharmaceutical companies make so much money off of these drugs, and it's not like that's what you look at other countries. Yeah, there is countries that have gun laws and gun bans and stuff, and yeah, they might not have as many shootings, but also they don't prescribe the drugs that we prescribe as much. They don't have a mental health problem like this country has either.
Yeah, it's because those kind of drugs are way overprescribed, and that's where these issues need to start. You need to start there. You don't. I don't know, man. I don't.
You don't start by taking guns. I don't think, because that's
it's going to cause more problems.
It's going to. Literally, if you tried to do that, if you started going home to home and trying to take people's weapons, like, it's going to start a civil war. It's going to start a complete war in this country. Like, it would just. It's not something that's even a possibility.
I'm down with the. They're talking about doing like. In-depth background checks and stuff like that. And
oh yeah,
that shouldn't be a problem, because if you want to own a gun, you shouldn't be. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be worried about your background checks.
Not at all.
If you want to own guns and stuff and you have a clean background, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. So that shouldn't be a big deal.
Not at all.
But just as far as like trying to take them all away, that's not a good idea.
Like they said, how many 100 million people in the U.S. and there's 100 million more weapons or assault weapons than there is people in the U.S.
The thing is, the news doesn't cover all the times that a mass shooting is stopped by somebody with a gun that knows how to use it.
And that's happened.
It happens a lot, and they don't report on it because it doesn't fit the narrative.
I've heard of people with concealed handgun licenses that, if they didn't have their pistol on them, they could, a lot of people would have died. They've saved lives by having their gun on them at times. And it all comes down to the person and the minds of the people in this country. It doesn't come down to the weapons, period.
Like you keep seeing the shooter posted all on the internet, his face, and that's exactly what they want.
And dude, the one in El Paso said he had no remorse for doing what he did either. Like, none at all.
But the thing is, they want to post the shooter and all this about him, but they don't post the people who are saving lives. Like, there was the one Army veteran, I think he was Army, who like put his life on the line and saved a bunch of kids in that Walmart. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one that he was at. He got up there and saved a bunch of people, but you don't hear anybody talking about that.
Yeah, like they never talk about the That's one thing that's wrong with this country too, is the news never talks about the positives and the good things going on. It's when it comes to stuff like that. It's always all they report is the negative, and what we need to change and what we need to take, and it's never about what happened that was good with the weapons or what happened that was good with this or that. Yeah, unfortunately. But,
well,
man, did you
on a broader note?
Right. Well, this is a little bit brighter, not much brighter, but did you hear about that lawsuit with Katy Perry?
I did.
It's that's I don't understand that.
Yeah, it's weird.
Dude,
it's like the same beat or something.
Actually, we can go ahead and give a shout out to my buddy Kevin, Just Press Play podcast. If y'all want to check them out, they're a really good podcast. It's him and his brother and his dad. You don't need to go check them out, but they also talked about this. They talk about music a lot. His brother has a degree in audio, and they know a lot about music, and they talk about sports. That's what they mostly talk about on their podcast. But it's a really fun podcast. Y'all should check them out. But,
I listened to one of their episodes the other day. The one where I saw where you were talking to him about it, and where they shouted us out, which we appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And
but they were talking. They
get deep on some football knowledge, and those dudes know what they're talking about, man. It was fun to listen to, just because I don't listen to really any podcasts that get that deep into sports.
And, I mean, when it comes to the NBA, NFL, any sports really, they dive deep into that, and they're really smart. But they were talking about that on their pod, and like LJ was saying on there, it's the dumbest thing ever that they can bring lawsuits onto people like this over sounds, over melodies, over little things. I don't get it, because
it would be to me, it'd be different if it was a complete ripoff, like it was exactly the same. But the sound, it doesn't really sound the same to me. It's the same notes.
Yeah, like and see, the thing is, in the big music industry, like, I mean, there's guys who do samples and stuff, but they, if it's like an exact replica, they always pay what they need to pay.
Yeah,
but I mean, when it's little stuff, like one little note or a few little melodies or little stuff like that that are just similar, and then, it's a completely different sound, though, most of the time. Like Katy Perry's song was a completely different sound than Flame's song. And not to mention, I mean, Flame's song came out, like, first of all, Katy Perry's song, what was that, Dark Horse, that they were doing
I think
it was Dark Horse, one of them that they were doing the lawsuit over. I mean, that's been like 5 or 6 years ago that came out, and then Flame's song came out like 5 or 6 years before that, and they're just now bringing up a lawsuit about it.
That's ridiculous.
Like, come on now. I mean, I think that's ridiculous that you can even go back in time and bring up a lawsuit over a song like that. Like, if you're even going to try that, you should have done it right when that song became big and right when it became a thing. But I don't know. These lawyers and the justice system, like, it's pretty scary. Like, when you know that you can, I mean, especially when it comes to music, like, you feel like if you change something, I feel like you should be able to change one little note or, a few little things, and then it shouldn't, you know what I mean? That should be your song.
Well, that's like your buddy was saying, it's like you can't say you own those notes, because it's music. Like, those notes are going to exist. There's only so many notes, period, that can be in music.
Yeah, and it's like LJ said on the podcast, like, where we're going to go back in time to the 60s and 50s and find those original melodies and bring lawsuits. Are those guys going to come back and bring lawsuits onto everybody who's used anything that sounds similar? Like, it's ridiculous.
There wouldn't be such thing as music.
Yeah, music wouldn't be a thing if people didn't get to use samples, or if somebody didn't take motivation from a song from the past.
Yeah, it was similar. The notes were similar, but that was it. Like, it wasn't a ripoff. It wasn't the same notes.
No, not at all. But I don't know. That's one of those things that.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know, man.
They need to do something about that. I mean, I think bringing up lawsuits on stuff like that was ridiculous. Period.
Yeah, me too. While we're on music, though, have you had a chance to listen to that new Rick Ross?
Yes,
dude.
The new Rick Ross
album is really good.
If you're into hip hop, the new Rick Ross album's actually, or if you're into Ross, period, it's a good vibe.
Yeah,
it's a really chill album. It's not like a real hard, gangster type Rick Ross album. It kind of reminds me of like some of his Maybach Music stuff.
Yeah, it's very
real
laid
slow
back.
Melody. Yeah, got a song with Drake on there. I mean, they're always good together. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a great album.
Yeah, there's some really good songs. I've been looking forward to this album. I knew it was coming. I didn't know when, though.
Yeah, it just dropped.
Came out Friday. Yeah,
I didn't know it was coming out Friday either.
Yeah, and I liked it a lot, man. It was a really good album.
Yeah, it was really good. Well, I guess we can hop into some fight stuff. Huh?
Yeah, for sure.
We got plenty of fight stuff to talk about too.
Yeah, this past weekend we had the UFC Fight Night where Covington and Robbie Lawler fought.
Man, Covington surprised me. Not really, because I know his skill set, but he really surprised me in this fight because...
What's surprising is how dominant he was over somebody like Robbie Lawler.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah. I mean, Robbie's a legend, which the only thing is, like I was saying before, Robbie 5 years ago, Robbie might have been a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know, because Robbie is getting a little older, and you know, he I feel like Robbie's getting to that point, which he obviously loves to fight, but I think he's getting to that point where he's kind of, you know, he's on the downhill slope of his career, and coming out of the UFC, but still he's a savage. I mean, we saw, you know, the shots he put on Ben Askren, even though the controversy with that fight and how he ended up losing, but Covington just looked good. Covington's one of those fighters. He's like a Max Holloway. He's going to put pressure on you the entire fight. He doesn't get tired. His cardio is insane. He's putting pressure the entire fight. He jab, 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 jab. You know, just little punches. And on top of that, he's a what was he, a D1 wrestler?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a really good wrestler. He can drag you to the ground if he needs to. But
I was really impressed with the output. Like, I knew he had skills and stuff, and I knew he can wrestle. I expected there to be a lot more wrestling. I didn't expect that striking output. He threw over 500 punches. And there wasn't anything super significant, but it was just like the pressure he's putting with a punch, you know, just consistent. It's consistency, really. I mean, he averaged like over 100 punches a round. And plus all the takedowns, it was like 18 takedown attempts, and I think 10 were successful.
Doing all that in a matter of 5 minutes.
It's crazy, man.
Like, I mean, Colby is just on you the entire fight. Which Robbie is a pressure fighter too, and you know he landed some good shots in the first round, and that's Robbie's fight usually. You know, he comes out really hard in the beginning and tries to put you down as quickly as he can, and it didn't work out for him this time. But Colby surprised me. The only, you know, I hate Colby. I hate him. He you know, his shit talk is terrible, and he's all about the Trump and how he's visited Trump, and he's all about the Trump movement. But other than that, Colby as a guy, if you've seen other interviews with him, he's not. You know, there's some interviews where he's not completely annoying. You know, it's obvious that that's just a put on for the UFC and to grow his name. You know, he's trying to be like that Conor McGregor type where, you know, he's just talking shit and all in the news and the media. But
did you see where him and Miesha Tate were going back and forth?
Miesha Tate? No, what did he say to her?
It was on one of the MMA shows. I forget which one it was. It's like one of the like ESPN style shows or whatever. And I guess that they were both on there, and she was talking about his, you know, antics or whatever. Yeah, and saying how she, you know, she didn't agree with it and stuff like that. He just went hard at her, saying how the only way she's relevant is because of her getting beat up by Ronda Rousey, and that her putting her pictures on the internet or whatever. Because apparently there was some like her phone must have got hacked or something. There were some nude pictures of her online.
Man, that's so
and he's
stupid.
Saying that she released them on purpose in order to keep her name, or in order to be relevant. Yeah.
Man, I don't believe that at all. Miesha's a great fighter, and she's always been respectful for the most part. So I don't, you know, which I mean, if that's the thing. If you come at Colby, he's gonna say something.
Yeah. She wasn't being like disrespectful towards him. She was just saying how like she didn't agree with the antics that he put. Yeah, everything he does.
He's always doing something stupid. And I mean, every UFC fighter's got their, you know, something that's happened. Like, I mean, her photos getting out or whatever. Everybody's got that. But Miesha Tate's not just relevant because of Ronda Rousey. She's got some significant wins.
She's a CEO of one championship now.
Yeah, she's one of the best UFC female fighters that we've ever seen.
Yeah, she's really high up in one championship now.
And then, did you see what John Jones tweeted, Robbie let the whole world down. Yeah. And, you know, a lot of people took that the wrong way. I think what John just meant that because nobody likes Colby.
He's just saying what we all felt.
Yeah, he's saying what we felt because we were all like, but he could have said it in a better way because the way he tweeted it looked like he was being negative towards Robbie.
Well, that's kind of like the way Twitter is. It's like diarrhea of the mouth. Everybody just says what's on their mind.
What's on their mind, yeah.
They don't think it out. They're just like...
You just tweet it. He's like, Robbie let the world down. And like in his head, you know, if you know John Jones, like he wasn't thinking like Robbie's a shitty person for not winning, or Robbie let us down.
No, he's just saying that everybody wanted to see Colby lose.
Yeah, everybody wanted to see Colby lose. Everybody respects Robbie, but Colby came back and said John Jones should know firsthand about letting the whole world down. Don't talk about Robbie Lawler, John Jones. Robbie Lawler's not wrecking a Bentley with hookers in the back of his car. Robbie Lawler's not hitting a pregnant lady and then fleeing the scene with all his drugs in the car. Robbie Lawler's a legend. He's a family man. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So how dare John Jones talk about him when he's the biggest piece of shit in all of sports? That's what Colby said, which a lot of people like that. I'm not going to lie, you know, which, you know, like I said, I don't think John meant anything bad by it, but Colby saying that, I have a little bit of respect for him. At least he respects Robbie. At least he has some type of respect in him. He's not just a complete D-bag.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was just, the fight itself was impressive to me because of how he was able to shut Robbie down. Like, Robbie couldn't really do anything,
Nothing.
But Colby never stopped to give him a chance. It was so consistent.
Colby's just on you. What do you think about him and Usman?
I think it's a really, really interesting fight because of their styles. They're both...
Their cardio is both amazing.
Yeah, they both have really great cardio. They both have really, really good wrestling. I'd say Usman's striking's probably better.
Yeah, Usman hits harder.
Yeah. He definitely has knockout power. And I think that it's going to be... That's what's going to be the difference in that kind of fight because they're both, the wrestling is so good.
It's pretty neck and neck, though. So, it really is an interesting fight. I'm excited to see them fight.
Yeah.
That'll be a really good title fight.
He has really great output with his striking, but he's not knocking anybody out. He's just going to keep peppering you up. But, if he's getting hit with shots that can knock him out, I want to see how he reacts.
Yeah, because who has he fought? He's had some good fights, but he's never really been in there with somebody like Usman. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be really interesting. I hope Usman, is healthy. He's been off for a while since that Tyron fight. Mm-hmm. So if his knee's healthy and it's a healthy Usman. He wasn't even healthy in the fight against Tyron. So Usman's dangerous. That's the thing. Tyron and Colby they're up there.
Yeah, definitely. It's like the 3-horse race because I want to see Tyron get another. I either want him to see him get a rematch or get a title shot after.
Yeah, I think whatever happens with Colby and Usman, I think either Tyron will get a shot against another title shot, which he deserves that. In my opinion, he was off that night. He was injured too, and honestly, I could see him deserving a rematch immediately against Usman. Tyron's been dominant against so many people.
Yeah, he never looked like himself in that fight.
No,
and it was very.
Seen anybody sleep Robbie Lawler like Tyron Woodley did. We've never seen people win like Tyron was running through guys, and he was the champ for a while. Mm-hmm. So whatever happens with Covington, Usman, I think they'll either give Tyron the title shot. What else would they give him really?
I don't really know, man.
I'd like to see him fight. I wouldn't mind seeing him fight the loser.
Yeah.
Either way, if he
does he need to wait that long though?
No,
because it's already been a little bit since him and Kamar fought.
If he
waits on them, they fight, and then he has to wait on them. We're talking about another 6-7 months probably.
Yeah, 6-7 months to a year before he gets the title shot. So
and to hold out just for that,
no, I think they're probably going to give him an immediate title shot after whoever wins that.
Yeah, you got. I just blanked on his name. 3-piece in the soda out there.
Oh yeah, Jorge.
Jorge Masvidal. You got Masvidal out there.
I always forget about him. He's like not really a dark horse because he's running through guys. He does deserve a title shot too. So it's he
deserves it in a different way because he's just been at it for so long.
Honestly, man, I would love to see him and Tyron fight right now. That's what I'm saying.
Like that, they could do that, and if he beats Tyron, he's definitely cemented a title shot.
100%. That's what right now. Right now, Tyron technically could be the gatekeeper, considering he lost to Usman, and we know Usman and Colby are about to fight. A perfect fight, really, would be Masvidal and Tyron.
Yeah, that would be a
winner
guarantee.
That gets the shot against whoever wins against Colby.
It'd be a guaranteed title shot for Masvidal if he won, because look how long Woodley ran the division. He was the king of that division for years. You know what I mean? Beating everybody.
If Masvidal, he was hollering about a title shot, but that win over Akren does not cement a title shot to me at all.
Well, he said
Akren has not ran the division in the UFC. Mm-hmm. Akren has not cemented anything in the UFC. Mm-hmm. So Masvidal, to me, he can say what he wants, but I still think he needs one more fight to prove that he needs that title shot. Period.
If there wasn't such a close race for a title shot, I'd agree. I think that if it was kind of wide open and we didn't really have anybody who was right there for a title shot already, I would want to give it to Masvidal just because he's been around for so long and he's beaten guys for a long time and he's been really impressive lately. But since there is so many people that deserve it all right there together, I don't think he gets to leapfrog the whole line of these guys who have
There's just too many in that division, bro. That division is stacked with killers.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited to see what happens with it, though.
Yeah, for sure. Masvidal said that his next fight, he said he's either going to fight for the title or fight Conor. And, Dana White's like, nah, it doesn't really work like that, bro. Like, you know, I'm sure if Conor came out and said, yeah, I'll fight him, they'd make the fight, but...
just because it's Conor. He can fight wherever he wants right now.
Yeah, I don't think... Dana White said something like, you don't get to... You know, that's not how this works or whatever.
Bro. Whatever you can say what you want, but you're not calling the shots.
Yeah, if, you know, we're going to offer him a fight, and if he takes it, he takes it. If not, then he just doesn't get anything, basically.
Exactly. What other fights we have on that card? Jim Miller and Clay Guida.
Jim Miller, Clay Guida. 58 seconds.
Jim Miller's a savage.
That's not at all what I expected. I mean, I knew Jim Miller's really good, but... You know, I thought that it was going to be more of a, you know, a war kind of, you know, just because we see how Clay Guida is.
Is that the fight where Herb Dean was the ref?
Yeah.
Yeah, where he didn't see the tap?
I didn't see the tap.
I didn't see the tap. No, I mean, obviously from different angles we did of the camera, but like, I mean look at Herb Dean's position, and look, that tap is so weird. Yeah. Like, I mean, he had other positions where he could have tapped.
I missed it.
I thought he was tapping like under him. You know what I mean, where nobody could see it.
I thought Clay was
like he didn't want to tap.
I thought Clay was just being hard headed. Honestly,
I think Clay was definitely being hard headed. He didn't want to lose that fight. He didn't want to lose that quick. He was embarrassed.
Yeah.
And
when I watched it live, I thought, damn, he's just going to go out because he doesn't want to tap.
I mean, they're both legends to the sport, but I mean, Jim Miller, I mean, he's one of those guys. I mean, if you give him even half an inch to submit you, he's going to do it. And I mean, that's just crazy that it ended that quick in a submission to me. You don't see that very often.
Yeah.
That was a great fight, though.
It was a nasty guillotine. I mean, there was no chance of trying to outlast that, or you know, he was in deep.
I mean, he put Clay to sleep though for a little bit. That was a good fight.
Yeah, a lot of the other guys on this card I didn't really know.
There wasn't a whole lot on that card.
Yeah, the fight right before the Miller and Guida fight was Joaquin Silva and Nasrat.
However you say that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't want to butcher that, but that dude won. Nasrat. He's 11-2. Won a second round KO. I remember one of his recent fights. I can't remember who he fought, but he looked really good in that too. It might have been the one before this one, back in October.
Yeah, he's been winning a lot lately.
Yeah, I remember watching the highlights and stuff and seeing him fight, and he looked really good in that fight too. So,
yeah,
but other than that, I mean,
a dark horse for us.
I don't know most of those other guys. That pay per view or that fight night was supposed to have Yair, Latifi, and Ozdemir on that. Yeah. I think he got moved up to the fights this weekend.
Oh,
I think it's on this card.
Oh, it is. The one we got coming up.
Yeah, I believe it's on this card tonight. But yeah, Mighty Mouse and
Mighty Mouse
Eddie Alvarez.
Eddie Alvarez, they both got a win.
Yeah.
Eddie came off of had a really bad loss with his debut at 1, and I'm glad though. I really like Eddie, and I wanted him to do well over there. He really needed that win. That was a good rear naked choke he got on that guy. I mean, the guy he was fighting. I mean, that's no punk. Like, I mean, there's guys over there in 1 who are not punks. Like, I mean, they could come to the UFC and contend.
I think Eddie Alvarez is still in the Grand Prix that they're doing right now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, even with that loss on the last one, I don't know if it started after that or what, but I'm pretty sure they said he's still in the running for the Grand Prix for the title or whatever.
Nice.
So that'd be cool, and Mighty Mouse is too in his weight division.
Awesome.
And his loss was, I mean, his win was a decision, which is not what we're used to seeing with Mighty Mouse. But that just shows you the level of competition over there. Like they're really good.
I mean, obviously, because Mighty Mouse was the one of. I mean, he's top 3. You know,
pound for pound,
one of the best ever. And you know, you can say what he wants about.
You can just say what you want
about what weight division he fights at. You know, obviously, but still, I mean, he's one of the best ever at his division.
I mean, I've never seen John Jones throw a guy in the air and get an armbar in midair. So.
No. I mean, Mighty Mouse has done some insane stuff, and he's beat some amazing guys. And the fact that he's going over there and struggling a little bit, you know, putting guys down, shows you that those guys over there they mean business.
Yeah. Yeah, if you resize Mighty Mouse to heavyweight, he would never lose.
Never.
With his skill set and the way he moves and everything, like if he was bigger and had all the same, you know, if you just multiplied everything to get to whatever a heavyweight is, he would be unstoppable.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, he got a win. I think he was in trouble once or twice in that fight. You know, it was kind of back and forth and stuff, but I think it was a unanimous decision. Like it wasn't.
Yeah, Mighty Mouse is one of those. He's not going to let you put your hands on him too much.
Yeah, we saw in his first fight. You know, he got caught once or twice. It wasn't like he walked through that guy or anything. So I mean, it's just impressive to me to see the level of competition compared to UFC.
And I guarantee that's what he wants. I mean, he his legacy is cemented in the UFC, and he's already done so much with his career. He just wants to win now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's all he's focused on, and he knows he's getting paid well. And to me, that's just he wants to go in there and take the least amount of damage he can. And if he goes to decision every fight, that's that's fine with him. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah,
it's probably what he's looking for. He's not worried about. He's beating so many guys. He's not worried about putting a guy out in the first round or doing something amazing, spectacular that we've never seen before because he's already done all that.
Yeah. So Cain Velasquez made his wrestling debut.
You sent me that video. If y'all haven't seen the video of Cain wrestling, it's pretty awesome actually. Yeah. Cain is really he's impressive. Athletic. I didn't realize how athletic he was until I watched that. I mean,
he doesn't look athletic.
He doesn't look athletic.
I mean,
at all.
Of course he was like one of the top of the heavyweight division for a long time. Yeah, so he has athleticism.
He has a dad body.
But yeah, his body you would not know it based on his body.
But he did. What do they call it when in wrestling when they like wrap their legs around their head and
Hurricanrana. Yeah. Hurricanrana, something like that.
Yeah. When he did that, I mean, he did it really well, too. I mean,
even the beginning, at the beginning of the match or when he comes in the ring or whatever, he, the guy, goes like he's going to take him down, and he does, a weird back-to-back. He, flipped over the guy but rolled off the other guy's back and landed behind him.
Yeah.
And then the guy turns around, and he just, starts beating him up, and then he jumps in the air.
So corny.
Jumps in the air, wraps his legs around his head, and flips the guy.
You don't realize how much athleticism freaking wrestling takes. I mean, WWE, it might be fake, but man, they do some crazy stuff in there.
They still get dropped from 10 feet in the air on their back.
They do. It still would hurt. 100%. And I think it's really badass that he's doing that now. And because it's obvious that his time in the UFC was over. His MMA career was over. It wasn't. It was. I'm so glad he's not one of those guys that sticks around and gets his ass beat and takes more CT damage. That's not what we need. We need these guys to find other career paths and keep moving on. And
if that's his passion, he was a wrestler in high school and everything, or college and stuff. So, I mean, I'm sure he had kind of a passion for wrestling. It's not the same kind of wrestling, obviously, but
still, just period. Just being engaged with wrestlers, period. Yeah. Most of the guys in wrestling have wrestled before, actual wrestled.
I haven't watched that kind of wrestling in a long time. I grew up on it. As a kid, dude, WCW, WWF, and all that.
Even as I grew older and knew, finally figured out, hey, it's fake. It's still entertaining. It's still,
I had it, man. It was so much fun just to watch when I was a kid. It's been a long time since I've really gotten into it or tried to even watch it. But as a kid, my dad, he told me straight up that it was fake when I was young watching it. Yeah. But it was so much fun to watch. It's because then you feel like you're watching a movie. You feel like these people are I don't know. I always enjoyed it, and just kind of seeing that, it was cool.
That's awesome, man. I'm happy for Cain though.
Yeah, me too.
We got some couple of things to announce.
Yeah,
fight announcements. A lot of fight announcements actually.
Yeah. So Cyborg released from the UFC.
Yep. Man, I don't know about that whole situation. I mean, there's been so much back and forth. You don't know who to believe. I just think the people surrounding Cyborg, a lot of her team and stuff have caused more issues for her than she has for herself. I think Cyborg's a great girl. I think she's always she's always respectful and sweet, especially on camera. I think she means well at all times, but I just think the people surrounding her have kind of put negativity on her or done certain things, which. Dana White and them didn't make it any easier by going at her and, saying a lot of negative things and picking on her about certain stuff, which, she did test positive, so it made it easy at some point to make fun of her or to, and let's be honest, she's not the most attractive girl in the world, but that's at the same time, that's not something that we should even be worried about. She's a UFC fighter.
She's a dominant.
Yeah, and she's a savage. She'll beat the shit out of almost any guy, I mean, honestly, she would. And I don't know. It's kind of sad to see. I like Cyborg, and I hate to see her get released like that.
Yeah.
But
I hope she can find a place to go.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be tough for her to find fights at 145, though. I mean, there's not a lot of stacked divisions at 145 for women fighting.
UFC is just where it's at. unfortunately. But I mean, if she could get paid well, I mean, I see her running any division in any, Bellator.
Yeah.
If she went to Bellator 1, I could see her running the division easily.
Yeah, I meant to look up.
She wants to.
I meant to look up one and see if they had any, what their divisions look like for female. Because I know there's a lot of female fighters over there, but I don't know what weights they're fighting.
Do some more research on one.
I wanted to do that before the pod, and I forgot.
There's so much you can dive into at one. I'm actually excited to see where that organization goes.
Yeah, for sure.
In the future, because I mean, they're continuously adding good fighters from the U.S. from all over. Like it's getting big.
The thing with Cyborg, man, it's just on the UFC's part, she was very mishandled. And then on her own part, with her team and her man he's like her manager and everything, he's really mishandled her too. I mean, like, everything he does to try to promote her and everything. She went on Brendan Schaub's show a couple times, and like he was with her, kind of to help translate and stuff. But he would just take over. He would just like start running the conversation. And like I'm listening and I'm like, bro, let her talk. Like, Brendan's asking her a question, and her boyfriend's just like, "Oh yeah, blah 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 blah," and it's just like, dude,
yeah, it's
he's not talking to you.
Yeah, and that's what I meant by people surrounding her. Mostly her boyfriend. It kind of has seemed toxic to her life. It kind of seemed like he's trying to run her life and run her. It's be her boyfriend, don't be her manager.
Yeah. So I missed the video that was put up with the edited. Like the subtitles or whatever, and it changed what Dana White said, and that's what sparked this whole thing for her to end up getting let go. I missed it. I never did see it until after the fact.
Yeah, well, when I saw that video, I thought everything he was saying was, I didn't even know it was an edited video. Yeah,
it was basically the subtitles that whenever they put the video up and added subtitles to it, it made him say something that he didn't really say. The subtitle said something where he said,
it's so easy on the internet,
I never tell the truth or something like that, and it was put out like that, and then he's like, you can't do that shit,
like what the hell?
I don't know who made the video. I would imagine it was. I mean, it definitely wasn't Cyborg.
And these videos, man, it's so easy to cause controversy.
I mean, Cyborg, English isn't even her first language, so she's not over there adding subtitles.
Not at all.
Making the video say other shit. I would imagine she didn't even know.
Yeah, it was probably just somebody.
Yeah.
Anybody.
She probably saw it after it was already made, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So you got some...
It's a rough situation, but, I hope the best for Cyborg, and I hope she finds a good place, and I hope she can get paid.
Yeah, that's all I'd be worried about if I was her at this point.
Yeah.
Get away from everything toxic. Just do something better with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Get some a lot of fight announcements.
Yeah, a lot of good fights coming up in the fall, man.
Yeah, just ones that I was looking through some of the stuff and realized that a lot of these we hadn't talked about yet, so I figured that we just take them all down and we'll mention them as we get closer to each one. But the first one we got Jeremy Stephens, Yair Rodriguez in September 21st. That's gonna be a fun fight, man.
Dude, they're both fun. I love Jeremy Stephens. Yeah. Great guy.
And then you got Yair he's always coming up with some crazy new moves and stuff.
Yeah, he's always flashy.
I think his last fight was against Korean Zombie when he knocked him out with that elbow with
that was awesome.
1 second left.
That was badass.
Yeah.
Yair Rodriguez, I love watching him fight. He's been on the come up too.
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
Jeremy Stephens is one of those, like, if you can get a win against him, you can beat most people if you can beat Jeremy Stephens. I think that's going to be a really solid fight.
Yeah, that's going to be a really good fight. After that, the following week,
the Joker.
Yeah, Hermansson and Jared Cannonier.
Both been looking pretty good.
Savages.
Both savages. Man, I have a lot of hope for Joker.
Yeah.
Jack Hermansson is he's been a savage lately, man. He's been one of those that just come in there knocking dudes out, coming in there putting that intense pressure. He's got really great cardio.
The way he beat Jacare was very, very impressive.
Very impressive. That's Jacare we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, Jacare's beat Chris Weidman. Like, Jacare's beat some good guys. Really good guys.
Yeah, it's really, really impressive.
Yeah, Jack Hermansson's one to look out for. He might be at the top of the division before too long.
Yeah, speaking of Weidman, we're going to get to see Chris Weidman and Dominic Reyes October 18th.
Another great fight.
Yeah.
Both legends.
They're the headliner on that card. That's going to be a really good fight, man.
Chris Weidman, He did he go up? He went up in weight, didn't he?
Or light heavyweight.
Light heavyweight, yeah. Nice. I'm excited to see Chris Weidman fight at that weight. I mean, I like seeing these guys go up, man. I like seeing what they can do at these weights. Just like Anthony Pettis, I mean, looked good at his debut at 170. Like, these guys are looking good.
It's always kind of a roll of the dice. You got some guys that do better at a heavier weight, and then some guys that it hurts them. Kind of like with Max.
Yeah, it slows him down.
He wasn't ready for 140 or 155, and he kind of got dominated. And then you got guys like,
Anthony Pettis.
Yeah, Anthony Pettis. I'm blanking on his name.
There's been plenty of guys who have gone up in weight and done better. I mean, honestly, guys like DC. I mean, DC is a monster at heavyweight. I mean, he's sleeping guys at heavyweight. He's not sleeping guys really at light heavyweight because it slows him. I mean, light heavyweight slows him down. He has more power at heavyweight. He looks good at heavyweight. So, I mean, it's really where these guys are comfortable, where they fight the best at. But a lot of times going up in weight is better for you, especially if that's what your normal weight is. Like DC is one of those guys. He's just a big guy. He's a big frame. Like he fights better at heavyweight. He doesn't need to cut down to 205 to fight. I think it'll work out. Hopefully for Weidman. We'll see how that fight goes though.
Yeah. Same card. The co-main Zabit and Calvin Kattar.
Nice.
Yeah, that's gonna be
man.
That's gonna be a fun fight.
He's got a lot of hype.
He's got a lot of hype, but I haven't been overly impressed.
He looked good. Like he gets the job done, but he hasn't done anything just completely outstanding.
Yeah.
Like yes, he's an amazing fighter. Yes, he has amazing skills, but we haven't seen him beat somebody really high level.
I think when he was fighting on the come up, he was very impressive against the guys he was fighting. But as he's getting to these tougher guys, he's not looking as impressive to me. I think that's what it is. His last couple fights when he's been fighting the higher competition, he still looks good. He's still winning, but he's not really it's not matching the hype. Basically,
No.
From what I've been seeing here
lately. I mean, I want to see, he's one of those, I like watching him fight, and, he's one of those Russian guys that's like, there's a good chance he's gonna. So, I mean, I'm excited to see him fight, though. That's a good fight for him.
Yeah. And then I guess that's the next weekend. Damian Maia, Ben Askren.
I mean,
I don't think this one is been confirmed yet. It was announced. But it hasn't been confirmed. I don't think it's been.
Either way, we
still got a while. Yeah.
Either way, we can entertain it.
Sure.
Damian Maia been in the game for a long time. That's the only thing. But his jiu-jitsu is amazing.
We got jiu-jitsu versus wrestling.
Yeah, that's why this is so interesting.
There's not going to really be a lot of striking. I mean, I would imagine Damian's striking is probably
fine
better
with me. I love seeing UFC. I mean, anybody who just watches UFC want to see a knockout. They're not a true fan of UFC and mixed martial arts. Period. Yeah. I love watching Ben Askren fight, and I think this is exactly what he needs. He didn't need this should have been his debut, in my opinion. A fight against Damian Maia's a big name. This would have been a great debut fight for him to get started into the UFC instead of going in there and having a controversial fight where he got his face bashed in by Robbie and then he gets the fastest knockout ever from Jorge. Not a good start for him in the UFC, and this is exactly what he needs. I'm excited to see what Ben can do. And Ben. To me, Ben's got to win this if he's as good as we all think he is, and as good as he's always been. He's only got one loss on his record. It's not like Ben's a bad fighter. He's one of the most amazing wrestlers ever, and I'm excited to see that fight. Yeah,
for sure. I am too. It's gonna be really fun.
Then,
speaking of fun,
a couple weeks after that, I think
Johnny Walker, Corey Anderson.
So excited, dude. I'm more excited for this fight than a lot right now. I'm super excited to see Corey Anderson. I love Corey Anderson. He's one of the nicest guys I've seen so many interviews with him. He was on Rogan's podcast. Corey Anderson is just a super nice guy, and Johnny Walker's a super nice guy. And Johnny Walker liked our last Instagram post. It's the most amazing thing ever. Shout out to him for that. I love Johnny Walker. He's one. He's been calling out John Jones, calling out all kinds of people, and both of these guys want to be at the top of that division. Corey, it's all he's talked about, and Corey's worked really hard, and that's all he's talked about is I want to fight John Jones. I want to be at the top of this division. It's my goal. And I know I can do it, and he's really confident in that, and so is Johnny Walker. And Johnny Walker's a really flashy fighter, and has a lot of skills. He has a deep skill set. He's similar to a John Jones. So I'm glad
they made this fight. Corey Anderson posted. Yeah, Corey Anderson posted something like, "I was wanting to dethrone the king, but instead they want me to derail a train." Because the hype train with Johnny Walker.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty.
I like that. That was clever.
Yeah. But on that same card, we got Black Beast and Ivanov. Yeah, that's always his balls is hot, man. My balls was hot.
I love Derek.
That's a fun fight, man.
Man, he's one of those. You're always gonna get an entertaining fight because he just knocks dudes out. You know what I mean? He's gonna go in there and try to knock him out. Period. And he's entertaining to watch. Period.
Yeah.
The way he fights.
His personality.
Yeah, that just...
His personality is great, especially on the mic after every fight. He's just so entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I mean, all you gotta do is follow him on Instagram and he's hilarious.
He's okay. She's okay. This is caption for every video he posts. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good fight.
And then, so they announced Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz rematch.
Nice.
December 7th.
Joshua deserves it. Joshua has been one of the best boxers. He deserves this rematch against Reyes, and I love Reyes too, though, man. I'm so happy that he won that fight. It literally made his life. It made his career, and he's the first Mexican heavyweight champion boxer ever. That's something you can never take away from him. That's amazing, and we're gonna see how good Joshua really is.
Yeah,
because Joshua, they said, what was it before the fight? He got knocked out in sparring or something. He got knocked down or he got hurt. So Joshua might not have been on 100% in that fight. Well, Joshua we're used to seeing.
I saw something where he said that the pressure from the fact that Wilder knocked out Brazil in 3 rounds or whatever. He said the pressure got to him during the Andy Ruiz fight. The idea that he needed to knock him out early too, because people compare them. It's just a back and forth comparison between the two. When they're starting all these guys. Every time Wilder knocks somebody out, then everybody's like, all right, now Joshua has to knock this guy out in the same amount of time or less.
Or he's not as good. Yeah, and that's not how the sport is, man.
It's not at all.
It's not boxing, period.
But, he said that pressure was weighing on him the whole time in the back of his mind. I got to finish this guy. And so he was kind of headhunting a little bit, and he underestimated Ruiz's skill level,
Yeah, he did 100%. Ruiz is going to knock you out. He's going to put you down if you give him a second.
Mm-hmm.
And he's super athletic. Just because the guy's a fat guy or a bigger guy, or doesn't mean he can't be athletic. A lot of it's like a DC. Do you think just because these guys have extra fat and extra weight on them that they're not athetic? You're wrong. They're in good shape, and they're in good shape, and it has nothing to do with that. You can be a heavier guy and be in shape.
Yeah,
there's a big difference in being fat and out of shape.
Look at Roy Nelson.
Yeah, right. Always been a savage.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that fight, though.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's kind of not what I would expect. They're doing it in Saudi Arabia, which is
weird, really.
Yeah, the rematch. This was Joshua's first fight in the States, and it didn't go his way. Now, I would have expected them to either do the rematch if he could have pulled it to get it done in England, because that's where he's from. It's kind of home field advantage, or I could have seen Ruiz wanting to do it in Mexico because that's where he's from. But instead, they just go way outside the box and go Saudi Arabia, which is kind of crazy. I didn't expect to see.
It's a weird place to do it, but
yeah.
I'm still excited.
Yeah, either way, it's gonna be fun.
It's a weird spot to do it, though.
Yeah.
But that'll be cool.
So, Fedor's brother, I believe his name is Alex Emelianenko, has received offers to fight for bare knuckle fighting championship.
Now, where has he fought? Has he fought anywhere previously?
He was. I don't know if it was in Bellator or if he was in.
He's got
PFL. He's been a fighter. He's had some issues.
Research on him.
Yeah, he's had some issues. I think there was a rape allegation or something. He's had some issues like that.
Bare knuckle's a good spot for him. Then.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
He's having some visa issues, I guess, and he's got to get visa issues sorted out before he can, actually go sign with them. But there's been offers made, and they want him to come fight there. And I imagine if he can sort out these issues with his visa, he will.
Yeah,
which would be, that'd be pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. Speaking of bare knuckle, we got a bare knuckle card tonight.
Nice.
What is this? Bare knuckle. I'm not sure which card it is. 6, I think it is.
I think it's 6. I think the last one was 5.
Yeah. We got Jim Allers, who previously fought in the UFC. He's going up against Leonardo Garcia. Leonardo Garcia. He was in the UFC as well. He's a veteran there. I didn't watch them a whole lot in the UFC. They were never like really big champions, real popular fighters in the UFC, but they both had pretty decent careers in the UFC.
This is BKFC 7.
Yeah, BKFC 7, yeah. On their website, it says, the Beast has answered the call. Florida's own Jim Allers will step into the squared circle on short notice next weekend. He's fighting Leonardo Garcia, like I said. Allers entered the event coming off an incredible 45-second knockout win over Elvin Brito at BKFC 6. So, he's knocking out dudes.
Yeah.
Jim's a really tough guy. I don't know. What do you think about this?
BKFC fights are just fun.
They're interesting.
Yeah,
they're super interesting.
Not if you like gore. I mean, not if you don't like gore, but
that's what's cool.
If you don't mind the blood and everything,
like it's scary to think about. And we've had so much controversy, and a lot of people who have talked good about saying that bare knuckle fighting is better for CT damage and stuff, because most of the time the fights don't last as long, which these guys are. They're getting a lot of scar tissue because they're getting their faces busted up, and
they're definitely getting cut up.
Yeah, they're getting cut up because it is bare knuckle, but most of the time the fights are over quicker. There's not as much. They're not taking as many shots usually, unless they're just psycho. Like who was it that fought? I can't remember.
Recently.
Yeah.
About Artem and
yes, Artem and Pauly. There can be good fights, but most of the time so far, most of the fights we've seen in bare knuckle have ended pretty quickly.
Yeah,
most of them have been knockouts, so that'll be a good fight. Like I said, it was the second time that Allers defeated Brito bare knuckle. 2 years prior, he beat him in a mixed martial arts contest. But he said you always have that confidence once you beat someone that you kind of feel you have an edge over them. But that should be a good fight.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm excited for that. If you like bare knuckle, tune into that. That might be one of those sports that continues to grow.
Yeah, I think it will.
I like it.
Yeah, they're seem to be getting a lot of traction.
That's what I was thinking about. It was a Jason Knight.
Oh yeah, Jason Knight, Artem.
Yeah, they had
that was
a crazy fight. Yeah. Dude. Like they got the crap beat out of each other. You're going to see some wars in there, which it's entertaining to me, man. Fighting's a scary game, but if you're into seeing some crazy stuff and some blood, you're gonna get that with bare knuckle, and that's what makes it different. You do get some blood, you do get some gore sometimes in UFC, but a lot of times it's submission or it's different. It's a different game.
Yeah, for
this
sure.
is straight up bare knuckle boxing, and it's entertaining.
They seem to be getting some traction. I think it's gonna last a while.
Yeah, I think it will too, man. It's entertaining. Period.
As long as they're paying their people,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't imagine they're getting paid as much. And from what we've seen,
the organization is not huge yet.
Yeah, from what we've seen, they haven't been getting paid as well as like UFC or whatever. But it's giving these guys another outlet to do what they love, and can't be mad at them for that.
Not at all. I'm excited. I'm gonna watch that card tonight, and maybe some crazy stuff will go down. We can talk about it next week
for sure. We also got UFC fights. This is UFC Fight Night 156
tonight.
Yeah. There's some pretty good fights on here. There's a lot of
Yeah, it's not a huge card, which a lot of times the fight nights are. Sometimes you'll get a really good main event. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you'll get...
the three main fights are all pretty good. CarmoucheMike and Latifi going at it.
I'm excited.
That's going to be fun. Light heavyweight.
It's going to be a really good fight.
Yeah. Volkan's fun to watch, man. He knocks a lot of dudes out.
Isn't it Volkan that... was it Volkan that fought... He got knocked out by Derek Lewis, though, didn't he? Was that Volkan?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the end of the. It was like the end of the fight.
Yeah. Remember that the last.
Yeah, it was like the last 5 seconds of the fight or something.
Yeah.
No. I guess it wasn't.
That was a while back.
Who was it? Who was it that got knocked out by Lewis? Because it wasn't him. Something
Volkan. It was a similar name.
Oh, it's the yeah. Okay, it's who is it?
I can't remember.
I don't remember either. Anyway, whatever. Volkan's last fight was against Anthony Smith. He lost a submission in the 3rd round. And this fight with Latifi, this is the 3rd time that they tried to make this fight. It was canceled in June. It was moved to August. Got canceled in August, and then it was moved to now.
Really? I didn't even hear anything on that. What happened?
I don't know.
Injuries,
I think on the last one, they moved to this card because they needed... I want to say that on the card, it was supposed to be on this past weekend's card, and then when they made the Covington Lawler fight, they moved that fight to this card this week.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Like it was supposed to be the headline of the other card, and they bumped her to this week because I think the first time I'm not sure what happened there.
Either way, it's a good fight.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see.
Yeah.
His last fight was against Oba St. Preux.
Yeah.
No, his last fight was against Corey Anderson. Lost the decision. Before that, he got submitted by Oba St. Preux.
I mean, those are both savages too, though. He lost to 2 amazing fighters, but still, I think he'll get it done though. Yeah,
it'll be fun to see that. I like to see Ozdemir fight. It's pretty fun.
Oh yeah,
it's fun to watch. For a big guy, knocks a lot of people out. Co-main Mike Perry, Vicente Luque.
Oh, Platinum Mike Perry.
Yeah. I want to see Mike get a win, man.
I do too. He came off.
He beat Oliveira, Cowboy Oliveira.
Yeah, Oliveira,
and lost to Cowboy Cerrone before that.
Yeah, I remember he fought the 2 Cowboys in a row, which his last fight was good.
Yeah, he looked pretty good.
Yeah, he looked like he was fresh in there. He looked like he was ready for a comeback fight. And losing to Cowboy, man, Cowboy's one of those guys. He can beat anybody, and Mike's on the up and coming still. He's, just now kind of getting towards his prime. Yeah. And I think he's going to get it done.
He's been kind of all over the place with camps and stuff,
Yeah, but he's
moved around a lot.
He's such a flashy fighter. Yeah. He's so entertaining. He's always, he talks shit, but in a good way. Mm-hmm. Like, he always comes in there and he's ready to fight. And I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I want to see... I'd like to see Mike get a win just because I'm a fan. I like Mike Perry.
Well, Mike puts a lot of pressure. He's one of those fighters. He's all over the place. He's gonna throw a lot of jabs at you. He's gonna really be coming at you. So I really think he's gonna get that done. I want to see him win just because I'm a fan. Yeah. But I think Mike Perry will get that one done.
He hasn't had a lot of really big big names. He beat a couple of guys we'd know, but he hasn't fought like the top caliber guys yet. So it'll be fun to see him go at it, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Main event, we got
Shevchenko,
Bullet, Valentina Shevchenko, and Luis Carmouche.
Well, Shevchenko is the one fighter who I think has the ability to possibly beat Amanda Nunes, who nobody can beat really. Yeah. Shevchenko is a monster. She's knocked out so many people. She's such a good fighter, though. And she's super respectful. I'm really excited to see that fight. She's fighting Liz. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's fighting Liz. Liz has not really fought anybody. She's fought some decent girls. She's coming off of a win. Her last win was against, kind of a nobody. Somebody who's not like a real high level fighter. It was a submission win, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a submission win. She's one of those. She doesn't strike a whole lot.
No, it was a decision. My bad.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, that was earlier this year, February.
Oh yeah. But also Liz is one of those girls who she's more going to try to put submissions on you. She doesn't put a lot of pressure. She doesn't throw a lot of strikes. Yeah. She doesn't throw a lot of significant strikes.
She doesn't fight much.
Yeah, she does. She hasn't fought a lot.
She fought back in 2013. She fought Jessica Andrade. She fought Ronda Rousey. She fought Miesha Tate in 2014. But it's like one fight a year, all the way up until now. Like this is the first fight.
I forgot she fought Andrade. Mm-hmm. That is a good fight.
This is the first year she's had 2 fights in the same year. She doesn't fight much. Yeah, she's been out for a while.
Man, it's hard for me. Liz has got. She's got. I didn't know she beat Andrade, to be honest.
Yeah, she beat Andrade, second round KO. Yeah. Her first fight that it's listing here was against Rousey. She lost first round.
Well, so Liz has fought. She's fought some big names.
Yeah, she's fought some people. She's got she's got a resume, but she hasn't beat them all.
Yeah, the thing is about Liz, I don't think she has the pressure to deal with Shevchenko. Mm-hmm. Shevchenko just puts so much pressure on you, and she was gonna knock. If she puts her hands on you, there's a good chance she's gonna knock you out.
Head kick.
Yeah, or she's gonna head kick you. I see this one maybe round 3. Yeah. I think honestly, it's my prediction is I think Shevchenko gets it done by round 3. Yeah. Probably by knockout. Shevchenko, just a really tough fighter.
I think So I was listening to something. They said that Carmouche has a win over Shevchenko in a long time ago in like a smaller division or something. Really? Not in the UFC or anything, but Apparently, she's beat her before a long time ago.
Also,
I'm sure Shevchenko is way better than she was then.
Yeah, so, I mean, either one or two things is happening. Shevchenko's going to have some type of doubt, which I doubt it.
Yeah,
I mean, that would be worst case scenario is Shevchenko has some type of doubt about losing to her, period. You know what I mean? Some type of anxiety or just some kind of mental blockage, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Shevchenko's last loss was to Amanda Nunes in 2017. And that was at one.
That went 5 rounds, didn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, that was a 5-round fight.
Yeah,
I remember watching that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. That fight in itself was a little bit. I think it went to decision, and a lot of people thought Shevchenko won.
Yeah,
and
that was when she was fighting at 135. She's at 125 now, and she's been running this division.
Running it.
Yeah. I'd
love to see her and Nunes fight at 125.
Yeah.
I think that would be an awesome fight.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, because Nunes obviously is a savage. She's been running through the best fighters. But yeah, I think Shevchenko gets it done against Liz.
Yeah, for sure. I think she's just too talented.
She's too good right now, man.
Yeah.
She's like in her prime right now, running through everybody.
And she has such a belief in herself. I don't think there's going to be any doubt. If she lost before, that's in the past, and she knows that she's way better now.
Yeah, if you watch her interviews, man, Shevchenko, I mean, she's super confident right now.
Yeah.
It's going to be. I'm excited to watch that card tonight. I think Shevchenko gets it done against Liz probably in the 3rd round, like I said. I think Mike Perry's going to get it done. Probably, I don't know. Probably, I'd say, I don't know. The Mike Perry fight.
It could be a decision. It could be a submission. He could knock him out. You never know with Mike.
I mean, obviously, you never know what could happen, but I think Perry gets it done. He looks good. You know, besides the loss to Cowboy.
He's still only 13-4. Yeah.
Besides that loss, he's looked good in all his other fights, and he's beaten some really good guys. Yeah. So, and I think Mike Perry's one of those. He's kind of been a dark horse, and I think he's kind of going to be able to come up a little bit more and get it done.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Ozdemir get a KO win.
Oh yeah, Ozdemir knocks guys out all the time.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good fight as well. I'm excited to watch that card tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Yeah. And along with Bkfc, we got so much coming up.
So much.
Yeah.
Man.
You want to do Mount Rushmore?
Yeah. Mount Rushmore.
We're doing the 4 best TV shows. All genres, just your 4 favorite.
Any TV show.
TV shows, yeah.
Whatever we want.
Yeah.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I can. I don't really have these in any, like, it's not 1 through 4 in order for me. No. It's just like 4, because I like them all in different ways.
I like this segment. It's something fun we can do.
Yeah.
We can roll with it every week and, have a different topic every week. And I think that's what's fun about Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always entertaining, and, people like seeing that. People like, knowing what your favorite fights are, or what your favorite fighters are, or what your favorite show is, or what, whatever the segment may be. But, I don't know. What's your first pick?
I'm going to put Stranger Things on there.
Stranger Things.
All 3 seasons together. I mean, there's no particular favorite. I mean, I think season 3 is probably the best so far to me, but, just the show in general. Dude, that show's so good.
Stranger Things is, it's been, every season so far to me has gotten, season 2, there was a couple times where I thought it was a little stagnant, but it's an amazing show. I love Stranger Things.
I slept on it at the beginning. I didn't watch it right
I'm not
when it
going to
came
put that
out.
on my top 4, even though it normally probably would be in my top 4 shows.
It's just, I watch a lot more movies than I do shows, and like the certain shows that I watch that I really enjoy.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, how much money they put in each episode of that show? Like,
yeah, millions.
Like $10 million
$10
I think. Something
like
insane. So, yeah, Stranger Things, that's an amazing pick and an amazing show. My first... Man, this is honestly probably my all-time favorite show. Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, okay.
Sons of Anarchy is such an amazing show, dude. If you're into gang stuff, or if you're into bikers and stuff like that, it's a really good show. But just period, that show is just amazing.
That's one of those shows I've never gotten into.
Well, I mean, it's something
so
about dramatic, but it's like it's a badass type dramatic.
Oh yeah, it definitely looks good, and I've seen a few episodes here and there, but I've never gotten into just watching all of it. Yeah. It's just one of those things. Like when you get so far behind on something, it's like, is it even worth starting?
There's just so many moments in that show where I get emotional because it's just like the way they connect you to the characters is wild. Like the storytelling is amazing. It's crazy how it continued every season.
Yeah.
Like the way they ran off from the last season was perfect. It's like it's one of those shows where you had to keep watching it. It's like I started when it was like season 3. I ran through the first 3 seasons like so quick because it's like you're watching a movie. Mm-hmm. It just continues. Once you get done with the one episode, you're like, I got to get to the next one. It's like you're in a movie that you can't finish and there's no end to it. But the last season was really wild and I really enjoyed that show.
That's cool. I've mentioned before, like I like comedies a lot, and I like to laugh. So the second one for me is going to be Parks and Recreation.
Parks and Rec is such a good show,
dude,
man.
The comedy in that show is so underrated.
That's one of those you can put on at any point, man.
Dude, I'll just throw it on sometimes when I'm doing something else and I just want to
so you can hear in the background.
And I'll remember the episode and it'll just make me laugh so hard.
Always give you a laugh.
Yeah,
Parks and Rec is awesome.
Yeah, there's so many different character dynamics and so many like really good actors in there together.
Yes. A lot of people got their start on that show too.
Yeah,
Parks and Rec is an amazing show. I don't know who the writers are, but they did really good with the comedy in that show. Yeah. It's a different type of comedy too.
Yeah, it's very different.
Speaking of comedy, my second is The Office.
I had a feeling that was coming.
The Office. Like speaking of different types of comedy, like The Office is such a different type of comedy. Mm-hmm. Like Steve Carell nailed that role. Like the role that they wanted for that show, Steve Carell nailed it. Mm-hmm. Like that is he played the part perfect. Like that's what they wanted is like an awkward guy who's says just random stuff, but it's funny. Like and the way they connect you to the characters on that show is weird too because it feels so organic. You know what I mean? Like it's like they're in an office. It's like they're really. It's almost like it's real. You know what I mean? Like the way the actors did in that show are really well. You don't think they're acting. You know what I mean? It's one of those shows where you just laugh because you feel like you're with them. Like you feel like you're just hanging out with your buddies, and they're all just. I mean, the comedy it's ridiculously hilarious. What's your number 3?
I'm gonna go Workaholics.
I forgot about that. How did I forget about
that's
that
one
show?
of my favorite shows, man.
Oh,
it's just that's another different kind of comedy. Like that's like just friends being stupid. You know?
Like that's another one, man. It's like it's one of those shows where it's just I don't know how to explain it, but it's just an organic type of comedy. It's you don't feel like it's a movie. Or it's like you don't feel like they're trying to be funny. You feel like that's just their personality.
Yeah, it really is. There's a lot of improv in that show too.
Yeah. Like it's just them running with it. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I love shows like that.
And that's a lot of them are kind of they're blowing up in different ways now. Like the one guy has a show on like ABC or something, and then you got like Adam Devine, he has a stand-up special on Netflix now, and he's doing like a lot of big movies and stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Oh, my number 3. It's hard, man. I think, honestly, bro, one of my all-time favorite shows is Lost.
Really?
You ever watch Lost? Man, Lost is one of those shows where it is just... Dan Cook said it one time in one of his stand-ups. He was talking about how he recorded Lost and stuff like this, and he was like, every time I turn off that show, I'm always like, I have 20 fucking questions and no answers. Like, what is going on? It's one of those shows though, like every episode they leave you hanging. You're like, why did this happen? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? And you have no idea. And it just slowly each episode kind of like they'll answer one answer for you, and then they'll do this and they'll do that, and it's a really entertaining show. I mean, it was a cool concept, like it's a weird show. I mean, it's I don't know. It's like some supernatural type stuff that deals with the show, like, but they're lost on an island. They crash a plane on an island, and it's like, I don't know. Even at the end of the show, even now, I don't understand everything completely. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, the series finale, a lot of people did complain about. Like, it could have been a little bit better, but just the show itself is amazing, and the storytelling and the acting. There's a lot of really big actors in that show. You wouldn't even if you went and watched it, you'd be like, wow, I didn't know he was in that. Yeah. There's a lot of people got their start on that show as well.
Well, number 4, I'm going to go, I said before, I really like the Marvel shows on Netflix.
Yes.
And like just the storytelling that they've done and everything. And I think Daredevil on Netflix is one of the best shows that I've ever...
I haven't finished Daredevil, or caught up on it, but I love that show as well.
Yeah, just the character arc from the beginning and seeing him like become... Because you get to see it, like, it goes all the way back to when he's a kid in flashbacks and stuff, and you get to see, like, everything that happened and what led him to being who he is, and then, like, because, like, the whole first season, he didn't even have a suit. he's just a dude in regular clothes out beating people up and stopping crime and everything. And then, like, you know, he transitions into becoming, like, the actual dude. And then, like, you know, all the way to the end of the third season. Like, there's so many, like, good actors in that show. Like,
it really is.
You know, Vincent D'Onofrio is Wilson Fisk or whatever. That dude, he kills that role.
Man, like, there really is some good acting in that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Marvel's got some good shows. They get some good actors.
Mm-hmm.
They really do.
I could have put The Punisher on there. I really enjoyed that show, too. That's a really good show.
Punisher's really good. I hope they can continue that show. That'd be really nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they might, since Disney's taking all this stuff. You know, Disney's about to start their platform. They're going to take away all this Marvel stuff and all this superhero stuff from Netflix. Mm-hmm. And I think they're going to really do big things with it on their platform with all their Marvel shows.
I wish they would bring them over there. I'm not sure that they will, though. They got so many other shows planned right now, like their own original content. Like, I think it's just going to end up being what it is.
Yeah.
I would love to see them, or do a movie with all of them together. You know, that'd be cool if they would do that. Just because awesome. Everybody still wants to see these characters. Like, they kind of like they cut them all off, and like I wasn't done, man. Like I want to see some more.
Yeah,
but
I really do too. I really hope that they continue to do that.
Yeah, especially for how bad the Daredevil movie was, the one with Ben Affleck back in the 2000s. That movie was garbage.
It was boring.
Yeah,
it was one of those. It was just like I was falling asleep watching it. I don't even think I finished that movie.
Yeah,
to be honest,
it was terrible, man. It was a really bad movie. And then they made this character and brought him back and like revived him basically and made him actually cool. You know.
Yeah. Well, my number 4, man, it can't not be on any list of mine, is Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
One of the best shows I've ever watched. Man, I'm not going to lie, the series finale, and everybody I know that loves that show, pissed off about the way that show ended. But, just the cinematics in that show, the acting, the cast, the way they played their parts, it's absolutely amazing, dude. It really is. I mean, like I said, there's no telling. I don't know how much money they put into each episode, but that just, from every season, it's just amazing. Every season you're hooked and you're ready for the next season. It's just one of those shows. I think it was episode 2 or 3. It was, literally like I was watching a movie of this final season. And it was, it's like I watched a movie. There's like Lord of the Rings or something. Like, they did really amazing with that show. That'll always be one of my favorite shows, regardless of how it ended. It's always going to be one of my favorite shows because that's one of the shows I can go back and watch and be entertained by at any point. You know.
Yeah. I heard the writers got a deal with Netflix. They're about to start doing something with Netflix.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's exciting though because they're amazing. All the writers on that show are amazing. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I had a feeling that and The Office were going to be on your list. And for some reason, I thought The Wire. I don't know. Have you watched The Wire?
Never watched The Wire. I've heard.
I heard you talk about The Wire before. I've always heard good things. I've never seen it either.
I've actually been thinking about starting like The Wire and Sopranos.
Oh yeah,
both those shows I've really wanted to watch.
Yeah,
I might try to start those.
Yeah, that's one.
Those are really good shows.
Yeah, I'd like to check them out myself.
I hope y'all like Mount Rushmore though.
Yeah,
I hope y'all like this.
This is a fun segment, man. I enjoy doing this.
It's really fun. I like talking about the shows.
It's kind of outside the box, you know?
Yeah, I like talking about these shows today, and I like going in depth and talking about different stuff that we like. You know, maybe people who like to listen to us can get to know a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, before we get out of here, I want to give a shout out to my boy Seth Roberts. He's been helping us out. Like he's promoting for us a little bit, you know, turning people this direction, getting them to check us out, you know, telling his friends and everything. And he's got a band called Factory. It's kind of like I don't want to butcher what genre it is, but it's more like a blues, jazz type of rock and roll style. It's pretty cool though. I've never seen someone shred on the guitar like Seth can do, man. He kills it, dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're starting to get radio play. They're up in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And a couple of their songs have been on the radio up there.
Really?
Which is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I just want to give him a shout out because
I like jazz feel type music and stuff like that. And I'm gonna look him up for sure. And anybody who can play guitar like that, I really respect because that takes some skill. Yeah,
he can shred on the guitar, man. I've never seen someone do it like that. You know, of course, there's like professionals and stuff to do it, but it's like Jimi Hendrix, like. It's at that level.
That's the staple for like the best guitar player ever.
Yeah,
you know
and that's been a big influence on him. I think he's been he's been playing guitar and stuff since he's a kid.
That's awesome. I respect that so much.
Kills it.
The passion that people have for music. I have a passion for music too. You know, I don't play any instruments, and never really something I've always wanted to learn one. But anybody who puts the time in to learn guitar and get really good at it, I got mad respect for, because that shit's hard, man.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, shout out to Sept, and if you're here because of him, we appreciate you and hope you enjoy it and hope you stick around.
Yeah, anybody out there, give us feedback. Follow us on Instagram, Untrained Experts, and Facebook. Maybe give us a like, give us a subscribe or a review on iTunes.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Until then, we'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.